Hey, what's up? My name is Moose from Grandma's House Audio, a recording studio in New Kensington, Pennsylvania. Check me out online, grandma'shouseaudio.com. You're listening to the weekly podcast where I interview bands, musicians, promoters, other audio engineers, anybody related to the music industry. Today I'm sitting here with my good friends Jason Capela and Phil Arena. Thanks for coming in, guys. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Good.
Looking at me like I'm crazy. That's my little spiel at the beginning. So I met you guys. I went to a show one time and to see another band, but you guys were in a band called Before You. And that's kind of how I met you guys. I don't think I probably just came up to you guys after the show like, oh, hey, good set, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a
weird and awkward. But you guys actually hit me up about recording, which was cool. You guys came down and toured the studio and stuff. And then I think it was like a couple weeks later I found out that you guys like broke up. And I was like really bummed because you guys were probably like my favorite Pittsburgh band. Like, I'm not saying that just because you're here, but
right, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I was like really bummed because I wanted to work on your next record and stuff. But if you don't mind me asking, what happened? Why'd you guys break up?
No, yeah, I mean, it was, well, Jed Dixon had quit probably about 6 months or so, or no. When did we, I'm trying to think of when we came and toured the studio. Was Jed still with us?
Still in the band.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was like the only one I knew at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
So he quit, and our management, also we parted ways with our management, and so we auditioned some new guitarists. We found a great guitarist, our friend Brian, and but then it was like, I don't know, things weren't moving at the rate that we were wanting them to. We weren't playing a lot of shows. We didn't think touring was realistic. So, at that point, we didn't know if it was even still worth doing it. And just having like somebody new come into the band, it sucked. Like I felt really, really bad for him, mostly because he was really, really stoked, and we were all kind of like, oh my God, I don't even know, what we're doing here.
Yeah,
we were writing new songs, kind of. We obviously were like looking for places to record, but yeah, ultimately we just found it better off to just call it quits.
Yeah.
So
that sucks.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all still cool and everything. So
That's
it's
good.
not, nothing was, was very
no bad blood
or anything.
Yeah.
So
I was really bummed out because you guys did like a last show, right?
At Howlers. Yeah.
Where at?
Howlers Cafe.
Okay. Yeah. I think you told me that before. Because me and Jason talked about this kind of before, but, yeah, I was like really bummed. I mean, I really liked you guys. I mean, I don't know. That sucks that you guys broke up. Man, I wish you guys were still around. Because like I went to a show to see another band, and I liked you guys the best. And then when you guys came here looking to record, I was like, yeah, this will be so fucking cool. Like, I just because like I was going through like a phase where I just like I was recording some cool bands and stuff, but like to like record somebody that you're like into, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've gotten projects that I was like, if you don't like their songs, you can just still do a good job, but I think you feel more passionate about something that you enjoy. Like,
yeah, for sure.
So, or I think a lot of, I was just talking with this younger band that wanted to record, and they sent me their like really, really raw demos that they had already done. And they're like, this is kind of what we sound like. We're a 3-piece. And you could tell they were either like high school or young college. And it was something that I wouldn't necessarily like go for and try to listen to on my own. But it was something that I've felt like I would have had a lot of creative input since they were so young and they were inexperienced. Stuff like that, that interests me too as well. So that's yeah.
Yeah, it's always cool, like, because I don't know if you like, when you record, do you like ask for demos first? And then
I just to get an idea, because they were asking for a quote of what we, I guess we didn't even really talk about the fact that I do record people at my job. Yeah. We just kind of went for it, but just to get, because they were asking for price. I don't handle any money aspect because I work for a business, I'm a
which is
subcontractor.
Awesome. Money sucks.
Right. So they were asking about all this price stuff, and I was like, my management or whatever, the owners of the place were asking me like, well, how long do you think it would take you for what they're looking for? And they want to do an EP. So I was like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they've been in a band before, or recorded before or whatever. Yeah. So I just had them send me some stuff just to get a ballpark. But
yeah, that's awesome because I usually do that too. Just, like you said, just to kind of get an idea to see what's going on. And, kind of, I guess, give them an estimate and stuff like that. But it's so cool when you get a demo from somebody, you're like, you just hear the potential, you know what I mean? Like, you just, like, the orchestra is just going on in your head, and you're like, yeah, it's rules.
Yeah.
I don't know, you get stoked about it or whatever.
Yeah.
So, Jason, we actually do stuff together, which is cool. Non-sexual stuff. So
what I hear.
I go and tell Phil everything. No secrets here.
Do you lay on the bed on your stomach with your legs up and when you guys are talking?
Yeah.
Turn the TV off. No distractions.
No distractions.
Tell me everything.
Little pink pillows and stuff.
Tell me everything. Phil writes it down.
I keep a journal. Sorry.
Does it have a unicorn on it?
Pretty graphic.
Yeah. It's a pink beaver. I don't know what the symbolism is, but it's Lisa Frank. So you can ask her, Lisa Frank.
It's pretty intense.
I use a Yikes pencil.
Dang, throwback.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in years.
Yikes.
Yikes.
That's what I say to yikes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jason, we do a lot of stuff together. I've recorded you doing drum covers and stuff, and you're an awesome drummer. How long have you been playing?
I've been playing drums since I was 10. Started in 5th grade. It was kind of when we could start playing an instrument in school, and of course, as a young kid, I think everybody wants to play drums.
Yeah, of course.
So I just kind of picked it up and went from there. Non-stop. I play all the time. I practice all the time. Try to get as good as I can. I don't know. I didn't start playing kit until 6th grade. The next year I was probably 11. Just kind of.
Did you start playing like snare or something like that?
Yeah, when we started out, you start out in like a snare drum. Started learning in a book, reading music, and at least for my school, I don't know how other people do it, but we started in like one little book, and then you kind of progress after that one. There's a second book. Rudiments get harder, and everything gets harder to read. And then after that, you kind of just start playing music. Once you get into 6th grade, it's a class.
Yeah.
We can kind of go from there, and that's where I started playing kit, started doing more of the jazzy stuff, and I don't know. And I had the opportunity, too. My director in high school was a percussionist, so I feel like I owe a lot of my talents to him. I mean, I've had a lot of people come up to me in the years of playing bands, like, your technique's really good, and things like that, and that's really from his teachings. I mean, he's a very, very good player, and so I take everything that I've, learned pretty much from him and just kind of maybe expanded on it a little bit, but, I just had a good opportunity having a good guy to kind of teach me.
Yeah, for sure.
He's the best drummer probably that I've ever seen, that I've ever played with.
Yeah.
True.
It's unbelievable, man.
Honestly, definitely the best drummer that I've ever recorded here.
Aww.
At least, you know what I mean?
I'm blushing.
Probably, if not, if not ever. You've mentioned to me before that you did drumline in college, right?
Yeah.
And you still teach at
St. Francis University.
Okay. I wrote in my notes IUP. That's wrong.
That's where I went. Marched at IUP, and then kind of after that, just been doing teaching.
Okay. So you marched at IUP, but then you teach at St. Francis.
Teach at
right?
St. Francis, yeah.
So, well, I was going to ask you if you were doing, if you got on a kit before you started marching, but I guess that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't start marching until 8th grade. And it was actually,
so you did it throughout high school too?
I did marching all the way from 8th grade through high school, and then
okay.
2 years in college.
Okay.
And then technically we didn't start until 9th grade, but they needed a drummer, a snare drummer. So he asked me.
Yeah.
So
that's
I was
awesome.
just like this little nerdy.
Oh, hey guys.
Hey, I play drums.
Did you ever see the picture?
Yeah, I got a classic picture from my 8th.
I want to see it.
My debut marching band.
Dude, it looks like it's
classic.
from 1978.
In the background, it's my fridge in the background of my parents' house, and there's like a fruit clock. It's classic.
It had an
big-
Instagram filter on it.
Big glasses.
It's great.
Not getting a girlfriend with that. That's for sure.
Hey guys, we'll play some snare drum for you. So, if anybody's listening that is trying to get better at drums or wants to start out, what would you recommend that they start doing to get better or to improve their technique? Like, what do you do? What did you do?
I mean, I started. The basics for me is just learning. You want to start learning how to hold the sticks. You want to start learning just simple technique as far as that. And then once you start getting comfortable as far as just the technique and playing, learn to read music. I think that's super important. I don't think it's absolutely necessary. There's a lot of great drummers out there who don't read music, who can't read music, and they're phenomenal. But I think learning how to read music definitely can excel you to a higher level.
Yeah.
And really make you think out of the box a little bit.
Yeah.
That most people probably wouldn't know how to do that don't read.
I totally agree. I mean, when I started learning some theory, it opened up a whole bunch of new doors. But it's weird because at the same time, I feel like it kind of messed me up sometimes too, because I feel like I think about things too much. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I'm like, whoa, what is this? What am I? Instead of just going with it, you know what I don't know.
I mean, it all translates along the kit too. So most people think,
Yeah.
I don't, marching band, that's where the main rudimental comes into place. Without marching band, I don't think I'd be as good as I am today, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And being able to play in college, like IUP had a very good program, a really good drum line, and I played with some really good guys there that really, work with you, and it makes you want to play better because those guys are phenomenal. So, I don't know, I think that aspect really helped me because that all translates around a kit. I mean, it's not just playing loud and fast, but there's a lot of stuff you can do that most people wouldn't be able to do without being able to read and kind of have a little bit of a background. But I guess the main thing too for somebody that wants to play, just practice. I always played things that I didn't know how to play at first, but I would read books and I already knew how to read music. I would see something and not necessarily, my hands may not have been able to play it, but I could read it. I knew how it was supposed to be played. So it's like, okay, well, I'll just sit, practice, just play it slow.
Yeah.
Play with a metronome. That's very important. Most people don't want to do that because they're scared.
Yeah.
So once you hear a click, I think your thinking just starts going wonky. People get nervous when they hear a click. And I think when you start playing to a click. Absolutely.
Yeah. I've heard that. Like anytime when you're not even just drums, but just any instrument, just to practice to some sort of metronome. Just, I guess, I totally agree. I don't know the actual science behind it. I'm sure it's just, so you're always playing fucking on time. You know what I mean? How do you okay, so the theory I know is all has to do with I was going to say musical notes, but everything's, I guess, a musical note. In sheet music, what is, what is that for drums? I don't even think I've seen that.
Well, it depends. For snare drum music, it's pretty much.
Does it have quarter notes, eighth note, all that stuff?
Yeah, it's all the same, but it's for snare drum. Typically, it's on the same line. So.
Oh, okay. So it has a line.
It can depend. If you want to write a cowbell part or a cymbal part, you can put it on a different line on the staff, or you can make it on the same line. They would just be marked with an X or, an X with a circle. There's so many different note styles that are used, and everybody does them differently. If I were writing, I'd probably write a rim shot with an X instead of a normal note head. Some people might write that different, maybe just like a circle. So it all depends. But then drum kit, of course, that's on different staffs and stuff, or it's different lines on the staff. So, but when you get started getting mallets and things like that, that can get difficult.
There's like all these things going through my head because there's so many different like things you can have on a drum kit. There's so many different like percussion instruments and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. So there's no actual like, you know, this line is the bass drum, this line is snare,
on a kit, yes.
Okay.
But when you're writing like for marching for drumline, you have one staff that's snare, another one that's going to be like tenors, bass, cymbals, auxiliary. You know, and of course tenor drums, there's 4, 5, 6. Those are on different lines on the staff. But no, I mean, unless you're writing for kit, then yeah, there's going to be a section on the staff that's bass drum. Then there's going to be like hi-hat, snare, crash cymbals, ride, and everything. And then any auxiliary that you got going with it.
I don't think I've ever seen sheet music for drums, ever.
Well, it's people even people who play like, who can read music that are like a horn player, but when they see drum music, it's like, what? Because a lot of our, you know, we have like rolls and different things, double stroke rolls, and I tell Phil all the time, and he makes fun of me for all the names of terminology like cheeses and grandmas and book reports and
are those like technical terms?
Oh yeah, and like, you know, most people, if you're not a drummer, you know, or if you're not a marching guy, adjustable, you wouldn't know what that means, you know. So we kind of have our own little language, if you will, in the drum world.
I feel you. The musical terms sometimes are really funny. My favorite one was always retardando. When you like slow or you decrease in tempo.
Phil retardando.
That's my Spanish name.
Oh man. So you've been coming here to record YouTube covers for your YouTube channel. You've been building that up. What made you want to do that?
I think once the band ended, you know, that's when I really wanted to start getting into that. Because I believe I didn't do my first one. I think we were already done. Because I think my first one was last July. That's when I did...
maybe.
Green Light. But the band was already done. I think once, you know, there was nothing going on with that, that's when I really wanted to start getting into it. I did a couple years ago. I was in a band called the Broken Arms. So I did a couple.
Is that the band that you showed me with the keyboard?
Yeah. And when I was with them, I did 2 just covers, but they were just audio, no video with it. But I did a couple. So, and that was years. I was probably 25 or 26, but never really got into it hardcore. I just did a couple for fun, and that was it.
Yeah.
But now, I don't know. I've seen drummers do them years ago, and always thought it was kind of cool. I think it's cool to show your creativity.
Yeah,
doing those, I think, kind of gets me out of the box. I think a lot of people always, especially being in before you, excluded me to being almost like just a punk drummer and stuff like that, which kind of gets annoying because I grew up playing everything. You know, I grew up playing jazz and rock and do the marching stuff, and so it's kind of cool to do these and kind of show off a little bit and show that you have other sides of playing other than just fast punk beats and stuff like that. Like you show people that, look, I can play. You know, so it's just fun to do. You know, it's fun to kind of just put out there and I guess just show off a little bit and have some fun.
I mean, I love doing them. The last one we did was really cool, and you got a lot of hits on that one. That was pretty cool.
That one did pretty well.
Megan Trainor, Lips Are Moving.
Oh yeah,
Jason Capela, look it up.
Lips Are Moving for sure.
So Phil, we were kind of talking earlier about recording, but I didn't mention that you also play bass and sing. Is that all you play? Do you play anything else or?
Oh no, I started playing guitar. Bass I kind of just I don't even know if you would want to say lucked into, but whenever one of the first bands I was in, serious bands, was a band called Second Before the Crash. So,
wait, you were in that band?
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that band.
Yeah. I took over whenever Tim quit and went to the Berlin.
I didn't know anybody personally. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he went.
Well, that's how I met Brett. Brett, who was in Before You with us. We were in Second Before the Crash together.
Oh. Sure.
And so they were.
I probably played shows with you then.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Club Angels and shit.
Oh God, Club Angels. Forgot about that place. That place is cool though.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Wait, where was that?
In
It was like super. It was a super small place.
McKeesport or Glassport.
That sounds right.
One of the ports.
There's probably somebody listening like,
Yeah, what are you guys doing?
idiots. It was in some other place.
Yeah, somewhere far from where I was living at the time. But no, one of my best friends was a mutual friend with me and Brett, and he was like, "Yeah, they're looking for a bassist. Do you think you could play bass?" And I'm like, "I'm sure I could try." And playing bass for pop punk is actually pretty easy. Because you can hit like one of 6 notes and it sounds like you're doing the right thing. So, I just kind of, because I started playing guitar, so I was like, okay, well, it's a bigger guitar and you just would use one finger, right? So,
yeah. It was kind of the opposite for me. I like started playing, bass was my first instrument, and then I somehow ended up playing guitars in bands. I don't know why. I mean, I suck at like every instrument I play.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Guitar is harder. So I don't know how I started playing guitar. Oh man, I'm just thinking about some of the stuff I had to play.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at guitar. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really great at guitar or bass. I know what I'm doing. I know what it's supposed to sound like, and I know what the theory behind everything. But I can play rhythm pretty well, and I can play bass.
Me.
All right, and I can sing. So that's what I always brought a voice to the table. So I think people were kind of like, okay, well, he doesn't. He's not an awesome bassist. He's not Flea or whatever, but he can sing, so we'll take him.
Yeah, I always tell people about this, but like every band I'm in, it's probably because I can sing. And every band I've been in never has anybody else that can sing.
Yeah.
And it sucks because like we'll record and I'll do like these like harmonies and like backup vocals and stuff. And then we play live, it's just like me singing.
Not there, yeah.
Which sucks because like we would record cool stuff and it's like we can't do it live.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely having a voice is like gold,
right?
In my opinion, at least in my experience. I don't know.
Yeah.
So have you been singing just as long as you've been playing guitar? Or?
No, I mean I started playing guitar whenever I was 16. Just taught myself. Yeah. I always knew there was a guitar because my dad played in a band whenever he was in high school. They did all like old like surfer rock, like Pipeline and shit.
Little Fender amp with a whole bunch of reverb.
Right. Yeah. So I knew there was a guitar somewhere in my grandparents' house. So I went over the one night and I asked my grandma, "Where's that guitar at?" And it was this old red Harmony Rocket. So I started playing on that as like all rusty strings, and I learned "Smoke on the Water."
I was just gonna say that. I think that's everybody's first riff.
Yeah. I just went from there. But I had been singing professionally. No, I'm just kidding. Since I was in chorus in like 4th grade, I think. One awesome. Of my friends was like, "Hey man, are you gonna join chorus?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Yeah, but we get out of a period a day and all the chicks are doing it." And so I was like, okay,
double no.
And wait,
double no.
No.
Gross.
So yeah, and then I progressed much like he did with marching and everything. And I was in high school, I was doing musicals and I was in a jazz choir, and I was into barbershop.
That's so cool. I've been wanting to like learn. We'll have to talk about that later. Like I've been wanting to learn like those harmonies, the way, you know what I mean? Because they have that specific sound to them, the way they harmonize,
right?
Like in barbershop quartets and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of harmony. I try to do it pretty much as possible.
Yeah. Me too. I probably overdo it.
Oh well, people get impressed. But yeah. So yeah, I've been singing it for a long time.
You have more guts than me. Man, when's the first time I started singing? Like maybe 9th grade or 10th grade or something. And I mean, I guess I kind of sang, like I would like write my own songs, but I never really showed anybody, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't even do, I was in choir, but I didn't do it until 12th grade.
Okay. Yeah.
I just did it 1 year because I was getting to the point where like I wanted to learn how to sing better, really, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I started getting better at like harmonies, I guess, and warming up your vocals and just being able to sing better. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So we were talking about recording earlier, which it's actually weird because we went to the same sound school.
Mm-hmm.
I think you graduated before me, but I didn't know you then.
Right.
I didn't know you until like way after I moved back. Well, not way after, I guess, but you were telling me that the place you're working at, In Tune with the Arts.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, when did you start working there? Like 2 months ago?
No, I've been there since around October. And it was basically me just getting acquainted with the studio and reacquainted with recording because all I had been doing was performing, not
recording.
I hadn't been doing any recording.
Yeah.
So like getting my chops back and everything, getting reacquainted with Logic. They also run Cubase there. So it was just a lot of, remembering quick keys. And shit like that.
I thought you said quickies.
Yeah. You gotta remember what a quickie was like. But yeah, I mean, I was watching YouTube videos just because, dude, I knew what to do and I knew how to go about it, but I couldn't remember like the most basic shit.
Yeah.
Like, just like, routing a bus or routing to, and I was like, dude. So I'm getting quicker.
Yeah, that's good. I maybe you kind of know where I'm coming from. There's like, I have a lot of friends from college and just people I'm just like I don't really talk to, but I'm friends with on Facebook that we like graduated college together and stuff, or had same classes and stuff. And it really bums me out because like 98% of them aren't doing anything with recording.
Yeah,
it's such a bummer.
It is. Man, I just think back to whenever we went on that, what was it called? The, like, All Access Tour or whatever, a Full Sail.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, like, it was like Willy Wonka's coming out. And, like, they show you all this, like, crazy shit. And they're like, these dudes won 5 Grammys. And they graduated 3 years ago. You can win 3 Grammys too, or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, just
gotta sell it, I guess.
Oh yeah, and they sell the shit out of that school.
Oh
man.
God, yeah.
And I'm definitely
there's a lot to learn there, though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But I think a lot of kids went there and they're like, dude, this is gonna teach me how to, be able to make beats, and I'm gonna make beats for little whoever. And
little.
Yeah, well, they're all little.
Little Jason Capela.
Yeah.
On a snare drum.
Caps. Little cap piece.
Hey, I play drum.
I'll make a beat for you.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was, if you applied yourself and you did, your shit, I mean, you come out there looking pretty good. But, the thing I think that held me back was moving back here to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because I there was no way around it, but we're not in the hotbed of the music industry here in Pittsburgh, so.
Yeah. I agree with that. And not like bashing any other studios around here.
No. But those are the only studios.
Yeah.
And that's it, unless you build one in your basement.
Yeah. Honestly, I wasn't even like planning on doing this. Like when I came back, well, before I even like moved away, when I was like 17 or 18, I was interning at AAM Studios. It's Mr. Smalls owns it now. It's the one on the north side.
Oh yeah.
But when I came back, I was trying to get a job there. And I was just, like they started me out as an intern. I was like just editing on Pro Tools and stuff. And I don't know, man. I wasn't feeling it. You know what I mean? And then as you know, I was like working a side job and I was interning there, and I was just recording bands on the side, like just and it just kind of kept snowballing from there, I guess. But yeah, I totally agree, man. It's I don't know. It's tough now too because everybody's trying to record themselves right now, and I mean it's so easy. I mean you don't even really have to play anything, and you can make a pretty good recording of a song, and you don't even have to know how to play. Right. It's crazy.
Yeah. GarageBand. I mean, if you know the basics and you can get through GarageBand, you can pretty much do anything.
Yeah.
On a freaking Mac.
Yeah, it's crazy. Man, yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's mind blowing.
It
really is. There's so much to say about it, but it's just like that's all. To sum it up, it's just mind blowing. I don't know. It's crazy. So I lost my place. Oh yeah. So we started talking about this because I was saying like my other, I have friends and stuff that don't do anything with their recording degree, but I was super stoked when you told me that you got a gig working at that place.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that you're doing something, man.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So is my wife.
And I mean, do you what are you doing there? Are you interning, or are you like a tracking engineer, or
I'm basically it there. Engineer, producer.
They don't have anybody else, like no other engineers? Wow.
No, yeah. The last guy left to do. He's doing like sound for video games, I think now.
Oh, that's so
somewhere in the area, yeah. So he couldn't juggle it anymore. It's basically, a music school. So they do all lessons for kids. Voice, violin, whatever, drums, guitar. They're actually looking for a guitar teacher, I think, still. So if anybody's listening and wants to,
it's not me.
Yeah, teach guitar. I definitely can't teach guitar. So
yeah,
they asked me that too. Whenever, they asked me that too. I'm like, I mean, I can try, but it's not like people aren't gonna want to pay for that.
Yeah,
like I can teach them, chords and stuff, but yeah, so whenever they sign a contract for a year, they automatically get 15 minutes in the studio. So, 15 minutes is not a lot, but,
no.
I can definitely, if they have a karaoke, or they always call it a karaoke track, but if they just have an instrumental track, they can bring it in and they can sing over it and give it to Grandpa for Christmas, and hey, this is me singing. Here you go, Grandpa. But yeah, I'm the one who will track their whatever they want to do.
Okay. Yeah. And, so you teach there too? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't teach. Well, I will be teaching coming up. Just like the basics about recording.
Yeah.
But not currently.
Yeah.
No, but
I always wanted to. I don't know. It's just something I'm passionate about. So I don't know. I just like talking about recording and whatever. I don't know. Right. But because I was going to stay in Florida. And I was thinking about like maybe trying to become a lab instructor or something.
Oh yeah.
Florida wasn't for me.
Oh man.
I love it, but it's not for me.
Orlando's. I mean, nothing against anybody in Orlando, but like, man, I hated that town. Like, I was so lucky that I found the friends that I did, or I would not have made it or been happy whatsoever.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
So hot.
Yeah, summers were crazy.
Yeah.
When did you move down there?
I moved down there in January.
Okay.
Or December. Yeah, at very end of December.
So at least you kind of got to get used to the temperature as it slowly right. I wouldn't say slowly, but
it smacks you in the face like the end of February.
Yeah.
That was crazy, man. Like your sunglasses fog up as soon as you walk out of the door. It's just.
Oh, I know, because at Full Sail, they kept everything cold.
Oh, it's cold as hell. You have to take a sweatshirt with you to class.
Yeah.
Then as soon as you step out, it's like, it's gnarly.
Blazing hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My wife works from home, because she lived in Florida with me, and when she was living there, she got a job, and then when we moved back, she still works for the same company, but she just gets to work from home here.
Oh, okay.
So like once every year, they'll like send her, like bring her down to Florida. Mm-hmm. We didn't go this past year, but I usually get to go back and like hang out with some old friends that are still there. And
oh wow,
which is kind of cool. It, like I guess that like, well, I guess it's technically not Orlando, like it's Winter Park or whatever. Right. It has gotten so much more like dense. Like there's so much more traffic. Oh my! And there's just man, it was crazy when I lived there. You know what I mean? Like I moved back in the end of 2010. Okay. And it was already crazy. And then when we went back in, I guess 2011, it was just like, wow. Just I don't know, dude. It just drives me nuts, man. It's just cars driving. I don't know.
It's a weird place. There's like turnarounds in the middle and.
Oh man.
No left turns and all these U-turns and yeah.
Florida,
man.
Florida. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
And that's the thing. There's no relief in Orlando because you're just smack dab in the middle of the state. Yeah. And it's like, just straight heat. Like I went to my cousin's in Tampa Bay, like I was telling you, and it's like 10 degrees cooler because they have the breeze from the bay. Yeah. In Orlando, it's just everything's concrete, everything's man-made. It's gross.
Yeah. I remember when I first moved down there, my roommate that I was living with at the time, we both moved down there from Ohio, from Columbus, and it was like a week or two later, like we were both working at restaurants, 2 different restaurants, but a couple weeks later, he's like, "Hey, man, some of me and my friends from work are going kayaking. You want to go?" And I was like, "No, I'm not going kayaking in Florida. That sounds awful. It's hot. There's things that want to eat you. Yeah, no way."
And all you have is a paddle.
I mean, I do like visiting there. It's a cool place, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, I love being by the beach too, which I mean. An hour each way, you're at some kind of beach, I guess. But I don't know. I like the beach. So, anyways, I was saying it's cool that you got back into recording. You were kind of like on a hiatus, I guess, a recording hiatus. Do you have any advice for people maybe stuck in that same situation, or just trying to keep their foot in the door and just keep recording to land a job or?
I think the biggest thing would just to be able to practice. It's just like what he was saying with drumming. I mean, or with anything really. I mean, yeah. Because I didn't do it, and I felt like a big dumbass whenever I sat back down in front of a computer. And I'm like, oh shit. I have to watch a freaking YouTube video to even open a file.
Thank God for YouTube.
Right, yeah. Thank God for this like conservatory in England that puts out these basic videos that walk you through everything, because I wouldn't have done or known what to do if it weren't for that. But I don't know. I think living here, it's so tough because of the lack of the lack of jobs in the music industry, and so like moving somewhere where there's a lot of jobs would definitely be a big piece of advice. If you move to Nashville or Austin, like I know friends that they were able to do that. They graduated and they said, all right, I'm moving right to Nashville, and they got a job right away in a studio. They might be an intern, they might be getting coffee, but who cares? They're
around it.
Yeah,
least, yeah. Cool, right on, man. All right, cool. So that wraps up the show. Check out Jason Capela on YouTube. Watch his latest drum cover video, I guess. I don't know. Is that what the kids are calling it? Lips Are Moving by Megan Trainor. Call it. It was filmed and recorded here at Grandma's House Audio. If you're in the Gibsonia area, that's where In Tune with the Arts is. Yeah. Okay. If you're in the Gibsonia, Pennsylvania area, check out In Tune with the Arts. Ask for Phil. Apparently, you're not going to get anybody else because he's the only one there. Yeah. If you're looking to record, go with Phil at In Tune with the Arts if you're around there. Everybody, thanks for listening. Guys, thanks for coming in. Give me a pound.
Absolutely.
Wow. Thanks for listening.